Welcome to this very special episode of Financial Insight Zambia, where we are witnessing the relaunching of a Lubambe Mine by the head of state, His Excellency the Republican President of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. And with us, we are hosting a very special guest who is the head the head of corporate and investment banking for Stanbic Bank Zambia, Helen Lubamba. Madam, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Hante. Good to be here. It's a very momentous occasion.
It is very, very exciting, and we've seen a lot happening, a lot going on, and we just want to ask, seeing that Stanbic Bank is a very huge player in the private sector, please tell us how important it is for the bank to attend the relaunch of the mine.
Okay, as we've all got to learn from our president, and also just in terms of development of our country, there needs to be a strong leadership coming from the private sector to partner with public. And what we've seen here is just that, because Lubambe Mines is owned by JCHX, 70% ownership, but with government through ZCCMIH owning 30%. And also in terms of the growth of this mine, it's part of the history of Zambia's mining sector, and it's gone through so many transformations. Over the last 13 years, Stanbic Bank has partnered with Lubambe Mines when it was run by Africa Rainbow Mines, with a JV with Valley, and that's where we participated directly in terms of partnering with them as a financing partner. And over the years, we've seen the change to EMR, and now we've seen the change to JCHX. And JCHX has been part of this mine for quite a long time as contractors, and now they're coming in as miners. And with coming in, what we will see and what they have promised is that they will expand operations, so effectively expand the lifetime of the mine. And we're seeing this being done through the two shafts that are going to be sank, and that is why this occasion is momentous and it's being called the relaunch. So Lubambe Mines has been with us historically for hundreds of years, but now the relaunch is really talking to the next phase, which is the expansion program. They're targeting about 2.5 million metric tons coming out of production, which will result in finished copper production of up to or more than 40,000 tons. So quite a big contribution to the 3 million metric tons a year that we're targeting in the next 10 years.
Now, the bank did record a very good performance in 2024, and based on our observation, this largely had a part because of how the bank participates in the developmental sectors of the Zambian economy. So tell us how important the mining is to Stanbic Bank Zambia.
Okay, I mean, our motto is we drive Zambia's growth, and that is our purpose for being here. So identifying those sectors that will have significant impact. Mining is a key sector for that. What comes with mining is not just the mining projects itself, but the impact it has on the community, the contractors, the suppliers, the individuals, the contribution to the families, and we know the expansive and multiple effect that a mining employee can have in terms of the welfare of families that rely on that, but also the industries that sprout out of that. And we've also know that there's a big move towards expanding the value addition side of mining and not just focusing on the mining itself. And already those plans are in place by various private sector entities that will partner and heed the call that is being made by our government. So mining is key one. We've also done a lot in the energy sector, because without energy you can't do anything. So a big focus on ensuring that we play a big role in ensuring that the energy capacity of this country can support the growth ambitions of this country. Agriculture, another big sector, 10 million tons of produce targeted over the next 10 years as well. So we've already seen a bumper harvest this year. We've delivered about 3 million metric tons of maize. So bumper harvest with surplus, and which is a big contrast to what we had last year, where we actually had a shortfall in the food production. So all these are adding up to saying, with concerted effort by the private sector, with being facilitated with the help of the government and the partnerships that drive it, we can deliver to the key sectors that drive this country's growth.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So, with the relaunch of the mine, how prepared is the bank to support not only the mine, but the mining economy or ecosystem rather? How prepared is the bank to support the mining ecosystem?
We are already doing that for the mines that we do support. So even where we don't have a direct lend into a mine, for example, we still support the suppliers, and we support the ecosystem around the mines. Because when you see the mines start producing, you also see the secondary sector start producing. By secondary sector, I'm talking about the suppliers to the mines, the suppliers to those suppliers, and also the domestic, the SMEs particularly, thrive off the growth of the mines. And that's why mining industry is so impactful. And we're posed as a bank to support that. We already have a lot of initiatives to support the SME sector, primarily the SME sector around the mining industry.
Brilliant. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have been talking to Helen Lubamba from Stanbic Bank Zambia here at Lubambe Mine relaunch in Chilabombe. From us, FiZ, it is a wrap. Get to know.
It is a great privilege to be right here on Financial Insight Zambia. It's a program that I really enjoy. I read your publications, I watch your podcasts, your videos. It's very insightful. And this is what Zambians need to be learning more about the economy, knowing more about what's going on and what's attracting so much investment into the country, and also what's attracting investors, what's getting so much interest. Because you see, a lot of people are flooding into our country to benefit off the growth of what's not only taking off, but how things will be moving forward. It's always good to be insightful ahead of the time when things truly do take off. Now, the reason we're here today in Chilabombe, in the beautiful Copperbelt province, is because the President of the Republic of Zambia is officiating at the relaunch of the Lubambe Copper Mine. Now, this is a mine that was essentially heading south in terms of going towards closure. Now, because of the policy environment the president has created, has engendered enormous positivity from an investor confidence perspective, and that has brought JCHX, who's investing $340 million in this mine. Sinking new shafts, getting production from a meager 17,000 all the way to 45,000 metric tons. And of course, saving 1,500 jobs, retaining them. These are permanent jobs that are creating value for this economy of Chilabombe and of course the Copperbelt at large, also enabling us to move towards our 3 million metric ton target, which is extremely important because of the fact that copper and its exports. Copper is so important in the global scheme of things. The energy transition is taking place, and because of the pricing it's fetching, it means that we as a country can earn in forex, and of course ensure that our currency is stronger. It helps mitigate the cost of doing business, the cost of living, of course, and basically the cost of goods, because of the fact that a lot of our goods are imported and we have to use forex in order to import that. Now, the reason why, again, this matters so much is because we can get to a point where we can earn significant amounts of revenues from these new investments so that we don't have to rely on anyone else for us to procure our medicine. We can be self-sufficient. And this level of financial independence is very important for our sovereignty. Debt dependence is something we want to move away from, and sometimes certain instances will happen in the world that we feel somewhat saddened by. But it's an opportunity for us to pick up ourselves and truly move towards greater self-reliance. And as an economy, we're heading in the right direction. We're certainly going to cross 6% GDP growth this year. We'll certainly end the power deficit going into first quarter of next year, but we're confident that this year will significantly diminish the load shedding that people are experiencing now, which is also constraining economic growth. So great times ahead for this country. We look forward to Financial Insight continuing to cover these developments that are taking place in the country, and my office is open. I'm a special assistant to the president for finance and investment, and of course sitting in the presidency, we want to make sure that the citizens out there are aware, because you have to be participants in this growth, because optimism and looking into the outlook positively, like Moody's has said, is also very important. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exclusive interview from Financial Insight. My name is Mwelo Chivesakunda, and I'm currently attending the Caminex that's happening currently in Kitwe, Zambia, where I am at the CEC stand, Copperbelt Energy Corporation PLC, that has just witnessed something very special. Today was the ringing of the bell from a monumental milestone for the company, where it has now reached $1 billion in market capitalization. And with me to talk about this significant milestone is none other than our good friend, the Chief Financial Officer of the corporation, Mr. Mtale Mkuka. Mtale, how are you?
Hi, Mwele. Good to chat to you.
Absolutely, it's always a pleasure to to engage with you, and obviously congratulations on this monumental milestone. But as we get into it, are you able to just share with us, what it means for the corporation reaching this significant milestone, and can you share what you believe has driven the investor confidence around Copperbelt Energy, in particular in the context of the Zambian economic landscape?
No, thanks a lot, Mwelo. Look, from a business perspective, we are, of course, quite excited that we've crossed the billion mark from a market capitalization, and we give it all to our key stakeholders, employees, investors, the regulators, the government, and the community in which we operate, and finally the customers. Everyone has earned this. But what do we think has led to this? Why the investor confidence now? We think that at the core of it, it's the sort of strong financial performance, which operational and financial performance, which has been registered over the past few years. Secondly, we believe that having a sort of strong governance, transparent reporting, and now that we are early adopters of integrated reporting, that goes a long way in the investors' assessment of the business. Thirdly, we believe that we've built very good partnerships and partnerships which are value adding with the utilities in the region, the IPPs, the customers, and now that we've crossed the borders of Zambia, we are doing a lot more in those regions, and all those relationships have significantly added to the business. And finally, we also think that from a regulatory perspective, the fact that we've got very clear transparent regulatory framework in country, and we are also seeing some reforms on the SAP which allows for the assessment of the risks and opportunities by investors in the business, and provided you can articulate that, we believe that shareholders and investors are seeing into that, and hence the valuation that you're seeing.
Absolutely, and obviously the journey itself has required the company to invest in strategic, have strategic investments. Are you able to share with us, what sort of strategic investments have obviously driven this, this growth in the company, but then also, how, those strategic investments have contributed to the growth trajectory, and what the future looks like for CEC?
No, thanks a lot. Look, over the years, I think you've seen that we've invested significant amounts of money in energy transition, specifically the solar plants that have been commissioned or under development. We've got 94 megawatts that has been commissioned in Riverside and Itimpi. We're building another 174 megawatts in 3 different sites. We also have a pipeline over and above that of the renewable projects that we are looking at. Now, if you specifically just look at the renewable energy plants, those go a long way in diversifying our cash flows. It goes a long way as well in ensuring that our power sourcing is well diversified and embedded into the business. But finally, we are also looking at partnering as a sustainable player with very specific utilities, especially those who want a green stamp. We are slowly being seen as a partner of choice in that area. As you note, one of our subsidiaries also raised the green bonds, which goes a long way in the green stamping of the investments that we make. But that is just on the renewable energy end. But as you know, we are a utility. We primarily have assets in transmission, and we are continuing to make strategic investments in transmission. I think everyone talks about the energy deficits that's there, but we are also seeing transmission bottlenecks. And as a business, we are deploying significant amounts of money in transmission, addressing transmission bottlenecks, as well as new build to supply the customers that we have. We believe that as long as we are able to communicate, ensure that our capital allocation strategy is robust, and also we embed it with the appropriate risk management framework, then we should continue to provide information to our investors and our stakeholders, which they can use to assess the valuation of the business and also buy into the strategy that the business has.
Absolutely. And, just on a final note, what does the outlook look like for the company as, from an investor perspective? What should, your key stakeholders, such as investors, look forward to, in the coming future for CEC?
So what's the future for CEC? Look, the beauty is everyone is seeing the energy deficit that is in the country. But it's not just in the country, it's in the region. And CEC, as a player in the country, as a player in the region, we want to play a role in ensuring that we reduce the deficits. Therefore, we're making very specific investments aimed at addressing that. But the second point is that most of the investments that we are making are also in a green space. And therefore, anyone who wants to get a green stamp, CEC is your partner. We are here. But we also believe that we should play a big role in activating the power trading, whether at regional level as well as in country. And therefore, because of all these things that are happening, we are making quite significant investments in automation, ensuring that we drive the efficiencies, whether it's from an operational perspective, from the data usage, make sure that we become more of a data-driven decision-making business. That's something that we will continue to do. We believe that if we address all these issues, which are part of the problems that the region and the country has, we will definitely have a niche, and we will believe that we'll uplift the valuation of the business and create value for all our stakeholders. Maybe the last point to highlight is that as we do all these investments, we will ensure that we comply to regulation, but more importantly, we will do it in a very transparent manner. We will communicate to our stakeholders, and with that communication, we believe that they will be better placed to assess the business. We think that the future is bright.
Absolutely, absolutely. And maybe on a final note, Talib, we, as Financial said, we have been tracking and publishing stories about this company. So today is obviously a very proud moment to see, this 1 billion valuation market cap for the corporation. So on behalf of myself and my team, we continue to wish you well and the team, and please do convey our message of congratulations to your CEO as well as your board chair.
No, thank you so much, Melwa. As we say from a CEC perspective, the more than $1 billion market cap is not for CEC. We believe that it's for everyone. You being one of our partners, definitely kudos to everyone, including yourselves. So thanks a lot for the kind words.
Absolutely. So there you have it. We've been speaking to the Chief Financial Officer of Copperbelt Energy. So stay tuned for more insights on the Financial Insight platform on this monumentous day for Copperbelt Energy. I've been your host for this interview, Mwelwa Chivesakunda. Get to know.